Hey guys, so this first video that you guys are going to watch today, it's about solving equations with variables on both sides. No distribution required. I'll explain that soon. It's going to be slides 2 through 5 of the slideshow that I presented. So some of you saw this last week in the videos, but we're just going to go ahead and talk about it a little more. Okay, so slide 2. Here's the problem. I'm going to show you two different ways to solve it. One where I'm getting the variable over to the left side because some people prefer that. They always see it over there and they want that. And then over here, I'm going to show you the other way, which keeps your variable term positive. Some of you guys like that a little better. So let me get started over here. I'm going to try to go ahead and get all my variable terms, my 8x, my 5x, over to the left side. So this 8x has to get dealt with. It's a positive 8x, so we're going to go ahead and subtract it off of both sides. So I subtracted it from there, and I'm going to subtract it here from the 5x also, because you have to subtract variable terms from variable terms. Right? Okay, cool. So that 22, we never touched it. It's just going to come right down. 5x minus 8x. That's a negative 3x. So I just write minus 3x, because minus and negative are the same thing. Equal sign comes down. The 10, which I never touched, also comes down. And then 8x minus 8x is 0, so I'm not going to write it. That's why I did it. Okay, now that I have my variable terms on the left, I'm going to focus on getting my constants, or just my regular old numbers, over to the right. This 22 needs to go. It's a positive 22, right? Because it has no sign in front of it, implying it's positive. We're going to subtract 22 off. And since we did it there, we're going to do it here to our other constant term. Okay, 22 minus 22 is nothing, right? Or right here. That's why we did it, right? So what's going to come down is not just a 3x, but a negative 3x. Again, minus and negative, they're the same thing. The negative 3x comes down. The equal sign comes down. And 10 minus 22, negative 12. And here we are at our one-step equation at this point, right? We have negative 3x equals negative 12. So since it's negative 3 times x, we're going to divide off that negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. It basically canceled out. So you are left with x equals, and then negative 12 divided by negative 3. Negative divided by negative is a positive. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So your final answer is x equals 4. Now, for those of you that really just like to have positive variable terms, we're going to sort of go the other way. If I go ahead and subtract this 5x off, and then subtract it from this other variable term, I'm going to have this 22 come down. 5x minus 5x is nothing. It's gone. That's why we did it. Equal sign comes down. 10 comes down. And then we have 8x minus 5x, which is a positive. You have to write the signs, right? It's a positive 3x. So now that the variable term is on the right side, we're going to focus to get our constants on the left side, meaning this positive 10 needs to be subtracted off from both sides. 22 minus 10, that's 12. Equal sign comes down. 10 minus 10 is nothing. And your 3x is left over here. So it's kind of like where we were over here, but they're both positive because we just kind of switched different ways. So now this 3 times x, that 3 needs to be divided. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Equal sign comes down. And there you have it. So either way you approach the problem, you're going to get 4. Okay, so now here we are looking at the question from slide number 3. And you might notice there are some like terms that we need to combine before we can do things. Now keep in mind, when you're combining like terms, they are like terms when you combine them, they are on the same side of the equal sign. Pause the video, see if you can find those like terms that I'm talking about. Okay, I hope you found them, but if not, we have these two constant terms, this positive 12, this positive 11. They exist on the same side of the equal sign. So before we start like shifting stuff and all this other stuff, subtracting, doing inverse operations, we're going to combine those to make them more manageable. Now I didn't do anything to this side of the equation, so I'm going to rewrite it because it's important in math to just rewrite things and keep things organized. Okay, now this n, I did nothing to it. It's coming down. But then you have this positive 12 that we are combining with this positive 11, and that becomes positive 23. So we have n plus 23 at this point. Now, I'm going to say let's just focus on getting the n. Let's get the variable terms over to the left side. Now, some of you might recognize there is no number in front of this n. So what can get put there? A 1, right? Because it's just an n. There's one of them that exists there. So I'm going to subtract 1n from this side and 1n from this side. Now, if you decided to go the other way, that's cool too. I just decided to go this way. And I'll show you in a minute the other way. Negative 8n minus 1n, that is your negative 9n. The negative 22 comes down, the equal sign comes down. 1n minus 1n are no n's, there's nothing there, that's why we did it. And now this 23 comes down. So now let's focus on getting our constant terms over to the right. I'm going to add 22 to get this guy out of there. So this negative 9n comes down because I didn't do anything to it. Negative 22, right? Negative 22 plus 22 is nothing. That's why we did that. So there's nothing there, which equals 23 plus 22 is 45. And now it's negative 9 times n. To do the inverse operation, you're going to divide both sides by negative 9. Negative 9 over negative 9 is 1. That's why we did that. We have n equals negative 5. And that's how that's done. I'm going to quickly show you the other way. So for those that really prefer a positive variable term, it's the same question. You do the same thing in the first step. Then you land right here. Then right here. And then right here. So either way, you have negative 5. So slide 4, we're going to have to combine like terms here also. Can you find them? Our like terms here are actually variable terms, which are this negative 2p and this negative 4p. I haven't touched anything over here on the left, so I'm just going to rewrite. Equal sign comes down. This 1 comes down. Now I'm combining a negative 2p, negative 4p, which brings us to negative 6p. Okay, I want you to pause the video and see if you can solve the rest on your own. Next step lands us here. Feel free to pause. Then here. And then here at negative 1. So reach out with any questions. See you in the next video.